We're live. So today we are going to have reality talks with Alex. With me is Michael Baker. He's from the United States, and we are going to be free to speak about any topic that is regarding reality or the way Michael is viewing the way we are perceiving reality and what is important for him. So Michael, you can say some things about yourself.
Yes, my name is Mike Baker. I'm a life coach, author, pastor, public speaker. I appreciate you having me on this morning. Glad to be here. Looking forward to the holidays. Hope everybody has a blessed holiday. And look forward to things to come in the new year.
That's great. So tell me more about you, how you're actually going through your life, what you are interested in while you're having your experience here on this planet, because all of us have the different way we perceive purpose, we perceive meaning. What is important for you and what do you want to live here while you're here?
And that's something we all have to ask ourselves. We got to decide for ourselves what matters to us, what gives our life meaning and purpose. And just as the Bible says, we are the salt of the earth. We are to preserve it and make our contribution to the evolution of it. Everybody can help somebody, and nobody's as smart as everybody. We all got to work together and bring unity back to the community. It takes unity. The house divided against itself cannot stand. We all have to work together. And that's where I'm at, trying to help others and help myself in the process, through everything that I've been through. I got the help that I actually needed by trying to help others, because I couldn't advise anybody else to do for themselves what I wasn't willing to do for myself. And that's how, iron sharpens iron. That's how we learn from each other. We got to hold each other accountable to become responsible. Taking responsibility leads to having authority. Without accountability, there's no authority. You can't have authority for something you have no control over.
Okay, and are you involved into some type of group? Are you alone? Do you go somewhere, to some community, or how are you having your social network, so to say?
On my social network, I started an online ministry probably about 4.5 years ago. And a couple of times I lost access to it through Facebook because the accounts I had gotten hacked at the time. But then when I just restarted the group and got it going, and my group now on Facebook, the It's Within You group, we've gotten almost 3,000 members now in the last 3 years, so it's still growing. And I look forward to working with people in general, and seeing people that I've spoken to, seeing them following through on the things that we've spoken about. It's just a great thing to watch, to see people emerging and become, coming into their own, and it's a great feeling to be a part of it,
So basically you have something like a digital community of more than 3,000 people with which you communicate, and it is more on Christianity you are communicated, or spiritual practices, or how you apply Christianity, or how you have defined your type of ministry?
It's in the application of the principles of the Bible, building the character within, honesty, open-mindedness, integrity, just being true to you. You got to thy own self always be true. You got to follow what's in your heart. And keeping in aligning everything. Everything's got to be in alignment. Your thoughts, deeds, and actions. With your intentions. If your actions and your intentions ain't lined up, you ain't going to get the results that you're looking for. you know, and the spirituality comes in, spirituality is a God-given gift to see things as they are, and most people, we get clouded by our perceptions and our beliefs, the things of the past and the things we've been told and the labels we've accepted for ourselves, everybody just going around just doing what they've always done, not pursuing what they want to do. They're just doing the same things over and over again, what they're comfortable with. It becomes familiar. You know what you do what you do because you know what to expect from it. People don't want to go into the unknown. They don't want to take that risk. But the greater the risk, the greater the reward. And we have to be willing to take that risk and put ourselves open to be vulnerable. And not live in the old ways. The passive aggressiveness and everything. We got to be able to state our needs clearly. To clearly define the problem is to know the solution to it. So we got to examine ourselves. We got to evaluate and reevaluate everything regularly. And prioritize our priorities.
And for example, do you have some type of daily practices, and actually based on your Christianity principles, what is actually important to you? What you manifest, or just to say as much as possible of what is in your insight and to give it out to more people, or the way you as a person are performing in this reality? What is more important for you? Just to spread the message or to be the message? How are you doing it in your personal life?
It's about setting the example and being the inspiration,
Mm-hmm.
Set the example and be the inspiration for a future generation. Everybody will have kids and people in the community and everything that look up to us. There people watch and observe what we do. It's the example that we're setting for others. Is how we live our lives. You got to practice what you preach. You got to get rid of the hypocrisy. And you see it every day. People say one thing and do something entirely different.
And for example, what do you think about, I have created the so-called not created, but this is how I'm explaining a lot about reality and how we are interacting with the outside reality, because it is important, whatever type of beliefs we have. Personally, I'm also a Christian, but for me, it is important not to proclaim what are my beliefs or what I'm willing to shout out, for example, or to project. For me, it is more important how much of what I understand I'm able to express in the outer physical matter reality. And for me, there are 4 quadrants. One part is my internal being, everything that is happening inside of me as a processes and my connection with God and everything that I'm doing in my hidden part where nobody sees what is happening with me. But then all the expressions of who I am in the outer reality is actually what is happening with my body, what is happening with the thoughts, processes, and the knowledge that I'm expressing, and then what is happening in the so-called quadrant 4 of reality, what exactly I'm doing as benefit for others. And of course, there in this the quadrant number 4, it's a lot of the so-called prosperity and what people are able to achieve as financial goals, as taking care about their families, or being of additional value for others, and so on and so on. And in which area of reality you are strongly expressing yourselves, and do you actually feel that it's not necessary with the human beings just to express it all ourselves? How are you doing it in your personal daily reality?
Well, it comes back to being true to you. You got to be in connection with yourself, with the spirit within. you know, and you got to express your emotions. You know, people, a lot of times that goes back to what I was saying earlier. You know, the passive aggressive behaviors. When we repress our feelings, we hold them in until they're ready to explode, and then somebody will say the least little thing to us, and next thing you know, we're jumping down their throat for no reason, and they step back like, wait a minute. But, you know, when we interact with others, we have to look at ourselves. You know, if somebody's treating you a certain way and you don't like the way they're treating you, you got to look at yourself and see, well, why are they treating me that way? You know, and what boundaries haven't I set? How am I treating this other person? How are my actions affecting them? You know, we're either expressing ourselves, we're either giving or receiving, you know, and a lot of times our perceptions are based on our beliefs, and a lot of our beliefs and everything we formed as children growing up. You know, we formed a lot of our beliefs around our habits to justify ourselves in doing so. And that's a lot of the limiting beliefs that we got to get rid of as adults, you know. You know, you're capable of anything. By your faith, all things are made possible to you.
Mm. And
But you have to put the effort into it.
yeah, and for example, because a lot of people are speaking and telling a lot of things, how in your personal life actually you are able to show the different type of people, okay, see not only what I'm speaking and telling, but see my different things that I'm doing, because for me it's important, these three parts of the human being: the beingness, where is everything internal of us, our beliefs, our connections, and so on. Then it's the doingness, what exactly every one of us as a human being is actually doing on a daily basis. And the third thing is the havingness. What are we surrounded with? Physical and non-physical, of course.
We have to try and learn from everybody and be in association with the people that are doing as we want to do, to be able that we see as being the best at what we do, you know. Well, I study a lot of the works of Rich Levin and people that I see as being the best in the field, to learn from them. You know, we got to learn from others and use what their experience, strength, and hope as our foundation to build upon, to make a contribution to.
Yes, and do you have, for example, work and job? What do you do for a living, for example?
I do the life coaching, but I also do construction. Also, I have a small business doing construction. I help a lot of people in my community, and basically whatever needs to be done. It's just being there for others, you know, and we all have to make a living. We all have to work. We all have to put the effort into it. You know, with building the connection with everybody, you know, not being in isolation, not isolating yourself. You know, a lot of people, they see themselves as being alone. You know, nobody understands them, this, that, and everything else. We got to seek to understand. You know, it's through understanding that we're forgiven. You know, understanding leads to forgiveness. We have to take responsibility for ourselves. You know, taking responsibility leads to maturity. We have to grow and thrive, and not just survive.
And how old are you?
52.
52. Okay, I'm 48. And do you have a family?
Yep. I have a wife and 2 children. Well, 3 children.
And do you think about legacy? Is it important for you what you are going to leave after yourself, and what are you going to leave for your children? Is it important for you or not so much?
It's not so much what I leave behind, it's what I instill in them. You know, they got to be able to stand on their own. You know, you can't enable the bad behaviors. You know, you got to reinforce the positive, and, you know, do away with the negative. You got to, it's not always the easiest thing to do, because, you know, you love your children and you want to protect them, but you can't protect them from the consequences of their own behaviors, because that just enables the bad behaviors that cause the problems to begin with to continue.
Yeah. Okay, I understand this. And if you put your importance, for example, your family and your community, to what extent you are a support for your family? I mean, also from the spiritual type of example, do they follow your example? Do they like what you are doing in your family, for example? And what are the biggest things that you have given, for example, to your children as a nice example of how, and did they actually took something from you, or as more of the children, they usually resist the parents?
Faith. My children, they have faith. I can say that, in society in general and in themselves, a few years back, our house burnt and we lost pretty much everything, 4 years ago when our house burnt down and everything. And the kids just took it in stride, and one of the people from our church was talking to my son, and he goes back and he's like, I can't believe he's got the faith that your son has and everything else like that. He wasn't, they weren't upset over what they lost and everything, and he said, well, we're going to build again, we'll rebuild, we're anywhere, it's just, it happened, and people were just taken by that the kids had such faith, that they weren't dwelling upon everything that they lost and everything, that they were looking forward to rebuilding and having new again. And that's what it is. It's a renewing of everything. Every morning we wake up, it's a new day. We start over every day. But it's what we do every day that matters.
Mm.
You got to prepare every day for what you wish to receive.
Mm. And how old are your children?
15, 14, and 13.
15, 14, and 13 years old. Yeah. So they go to school in the moment?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I also have 3 children, and I am trying to be an example, but I personally decided not to impose anything of my personal beliefs upon them. I'm showing them, and whenever they want to know why I'm doing the things I'm doing, I'm expressing everything that I'm doing, but I want they themselves to understand why it's important in life to have a specific core beliefs, and to some extent it is helping them to be searchers of the truth, because I don't want they to think one day that it is something that they are the way they are because their parents were the way they are, and that's why everything is just inherent. I want them to be open-minded, to think and to speak for themselves, and to search, to be searchers and to be explorers. For me, it's much more important than just they to be put into a place where everything is just given to them and they don't need to search. Because for me it is important the human being to be a searching and an explorational being. And yeah, I mean, they all have their paths. My children are 12, 15, and 18 years old. And I'm just strongly involved into legacy thinking. For me, it is important. The way I'm building myself, the way I'm building everything around me, I'm trying to show them examples, because for me it is important to actually put connection to our core beliefs and faith, not only speaking, but real life actions in everything that we're doing, because for me it is important, everything that we are claiming, to be able to prove it in the outside physical matter reality. And that's why even if something looks like that it is difficult, I'm still forward thinking about it, and I'm willing to influence all the, I'm calling them limitations. Everything that we're experiencing in reality, doesn't matter if, let's say, my house is burning tomorrow, or the day after something else happens, or even if I'm very successful, because a lot of people just like to endorse success. Success or failure, it doesn't matter. Everything is limitations. Even success is something that can create a lot of limits for people, because once they become successful, they start to become afraid of failures. And when they become afraid of failures and they just want to keep whatever they've got, it's again something that starts to create backwards effects for us, the human beings. So for me, everything is limitations. It doesn't matter if you label it good or bad. But the beautiful thing is how we as human beings are able to actually express more of who we are in the future. And for example, the way you are developing your faith and your faith movement, you are actually having a lot of relationships with all these people in this community, or you're supporting each other. How are you doing it?
Just by building the relationships, being, mutual, open, honest conversation, mutual understanding, and knowing others and finding that common ground. You got to be able to relate to people, to be able to build a relationship with them. Without that common ground, you can't build the relationship. You got to find the common ground, something to build upon.
And for example, when your situation happened with your house, there were a lot of people that were helping you and supporting you.
Can you repeat that?
When you had this situation and event with your house, did you have a lot of your community that was helping you and supporting you in these periods?
Not actually, no. I thought I was going to get a lot more support than what I actually did. We created a GoFundMe account and everything for when the house had burnt and everything. And we didn't, nobody even donated $1 to help us out, but that's okay. It is what it is. You can't change it. It's done and over with, but there were people that did reach out and help, and told me that, if we need anything, to reach out to them. And my other company, my construction company and everything else like that, I had my company for the last 14 years, my construction company, and the people that in the community that I live in, they all reached out. When our house burned down, they get, one of my customers said, boom, we have this house over here, you're welcome to it. And we went, so we had someplace else to go. We weren't left stranded, and or something like that. And the local churches helped out a lot, certain things that we needed and everything, they were there for us. Our community was there for us, and the actual community I live in, not the online community.
And now in the moment, are you okay, or you still need help and support?
We all still need help and support, but we're doing much better. We just, last month, we just got into a new house, and we're, things are moving forward every day. You got to take that next step every day, have faith, the assurance of things to come, and believe in what can't be seen, with the assurance of things to come.
And basically, when you move into the new things, for example, what are your wishes and do you have goals for the next year? What do you want actually to be different in your reality for the next year or the next 2-3 years? What do you want to express differently than what is today?
Well, I have several goals for the future. You know, I want to, I got some business opportunities I'm currently pursuing now to help with the future, you know, things that are going to provide for my children long after I'm gone. And I'm getting into, joined a couple of affiliate marketing programs, doing some work online to try and generate general income. You can't depend on just one type of income today. You know, you got to have multiple sources of income to get by. You know, your main income can supply your bills, but you still got to be able to live, you know. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah, and basically, do you have a daily job that supports you? I mean, do you have some security of monthly income, or nothing is secure for you?
No, I have several customers that I've worked with. Like I say, I've had my company for over 12 years. Most all the customers I have, they have a list of stuff for me to do, you know, so there's always something to do every day. There's never a day that goes by where there isn't something to do to generate income to keep the household going, you know, keep moving forward every day.
And so what are your goals for the future? You want to have more streams of income, actually? This is what you want?
Yeah, I'm creating more forms of passive income, and I wrote a book and published my book the year before last, and I'm in the process of revising that and having the revised edition, you know, published. There's a lot of different things I'm working on. I got a lot of goals, a lot of accomplishments to get done.
But you already have a book that you have written.
Yes, yeah, it's within you.
What is the name of the book?
It's within you.
It's within you.
That's the same as my ministry. Everything. I'm trying to keep everything simple.
And have you created some type of monetizational principles in order the community to support you, or are you selling something specific like programs or?
Yeah, I have the life coaching program that I work with people. The everybody said that I should be charging more than what I do. Most people's programs, they're around $5,000 for a 3-month program and everything, and I discount that. I try and charge people on a sliding scale depending on what their income is and what their goals are. You know, so it's a little bit different than what most other people's programs are. You know, what they're charging there. Everybody tells me I need to charge more because they say that those that aren't willing to invest in it aren't going to follow through on it, and those that pay attention and everything else like that. And for me, it's more about taking ownership of it. You know, it's your life, it's your story, you're the author of it. You got to be the authority over it. You know, take ownership of it. It's your life.
So basically, you're teaching them to take ownership of their own personal lives. This is what you're offering them with your coaching.
Yes. Yep. You know, you can pursue your passion to fulfill your purpose.
And you're now 52. And how much money have you personally spent into personal development?
I couldn't even give you a clue on that. I've been studying the works of people in the self-help field for over 30 years. You know, I work with people like Norman Vincent Peale, John Maxwell, and so I doing all their programs. The Grant Cardone 10X program. I've done a lot of stuff with them. The Jay Shetty, everybody that I studied from, you know, it's just a learning experience, you know.
But do you actually study the programs, or you go through the free information that they are offering, or did you pay money for all these programs?
Both. Some I've joined and some I've just been in attendance with, and other people I just building a relationship with them, just talking to them and things of that nature. But I do have my own coach also.
Mhm.
You know, that he does get paid.
Yeah. But you don't know the amount of money that you have spent in personal development?
It'd be in the thousands, but I don't have an exact figure. You know, personal development it's a lifetime process. It ain't something that happens overnight.
But is it more than $50,000 that you have spent through your life from the moment you started? And when did you start investing into personal development?
I said back when I was 14, 15 years old, when I went to my first rehab center, you know.
Mm.
You know, going from dropping out of high school at 14 years old to going to college at 21, you know, everything's a process, you know. I have plenty of student loan debts to still do, so I'm still paying for my education. You know, it's
So basically, if you put a balance, you're still on minus even today at 52 years old. You still have more debt than what you're earning.
yeah. And I think that's pretty much with everybody. Most everybody lives above their means. You know, everybody has credit card debt, and I mean, it takes money just to live. I mean, in today's economy, it's not the so you can't. Nobody can survive on just one income anymore. It isn't like it used to be. Like my parents, you know, they went to work for Nestle and everything else like that, and everything. They went to work there and then they retired from there. Today, you get a job somewhere, you're lucky if the company's still around 5 years from now, let alone retiring from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so life is not so easy in a sense.
Yeah, it ain't. You know, like my grandmother, she worked at the post office for 68 years. She was at the post office. And now you go to the post office and stuff like that. This post office ain't even a job that you can take where you're going to retire from anymore and everything. The post office, it's all, there ain't government workers delivering the mails and everything. Everything's subcontracted out. You know, it ain't everything. The world's evolved. It's changed, and we have to be able to change with it and adapt to it. You know, and that's the whole thing. We got to be able to change and adapt to our situation every day.
And basically, if we think about the personal development and all the different programs that you have went through, and you are trying to implement in your personal life and reality, can you say that actually it is a successful journey for yourself, or it is more like you have tried a lot of things, but they're not working for you? Because I don't feel that you're a disappointed person.
Oh no, I ain't disappointed. No, I'm optimistic. There's a future out there. The best is yet to come. You know, it's just up to us to pursue it. You gotta take that next step every day and keep moving forward, not get stuck in the past.
Yeah. I know all these labels, but the problem for me, and this is what how I perceive always my reality and how I look at it, I always make evaluation about what is the actual things that I'm surrounded with and what is actually happening daily with my movie. Because if we just go with all these labels and we think that what is in our mind is the actual reality, it is not. Everything that is in our mind is only probabilities, it's only possibilities, it's imagination, but actually when we soberly look into our reality around us, this is the actual thing that we were able to implement and to express out of ourselves. And for me, this is very important part of how I'm looking at the human beings, because just to have the information and to know all the labels, but not to be able to apply them, for me personally, this is not not a good end story in a sense. I mean, personally, everything that I'm trying to express, I'm constantly also applying into my daily life, because otherwise, if it's not working and functional for me, and if it doesn't create more, in a sense, success and more of what I'm thinking about long term, otherwise I'm putting a lot of alarms and I say, well, this is delusional. I need to be 100% sure that what is in my mind is possible to be present in the outer reality. Otherwise, I can just stay into a delusional state that things are very interesting and fine and good, but when I'm observed from the outside, it should be test proven that it is so. I don't know. I mean, this is my personal way. I'm at how I'm observing and watching at myself.
Well, you gotta, for myself, you gotta know where you're going, where you want to go, see where you want to be at. Everything starts with a vision. How how you see yourself in your future, what you're capable of. And you gotta be working towards something.
Yeah, but there is a problem with these visions and these goals, because if we're just trying to move to somewhere and to go somewhere, in a sense, it means that we are not okay with where we are in the moment.
Right. You gotta have hope for the future. You gotta have something to work forward to, something what inspires you.
Yes, I understand the inspirational part, but for me personally, I'm much more inspired, not with myself, not with who am I or my personal goals. This is not what inspires me. What inspires me is my positioning of being, of a possibility to help and inspire others, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because my personal beingness and my personal success, it is helping me only to the extent that I'm able to actually be of support of others. And this is what I see a lot around people, is that everyone puts their goals in a very egoistical ways. I want my goals that are enough as sustaining me. For example, my financial goals are much more higher and much more different than what I need as a personal being or my family needs. Because I've found this paradox that actually only when you move beyond what are your needs and your means, only then you start living for the others. Because till we are in this mode where we cannot sustain ourselves, it's very difficult to become altruistic being and to start living ethnocentrically for others. I don't know, how do you feel about it?
Being of service to others is what brings the most joy. It's where you get where your happiness comes in. Being able to help others and seeing them reach their goals. And like I say, it's an amazing feeling that you get inside when you see other people actually doing the things that you've talked about. They're following through on it, and that's what a lot of people have a problem with, is following through. Everybody can see it, but you got to plan it out. You got to break it down in the steps, action. Everything takes action. You got to put the effort into it. You got to seek to meet your own expectations to build the confidence within you. and that carries through, and other people see that in you. And when you talk to them, and they feel that, and they, well, if this guy can do it, I can do it too. And you can, it's sharing experience, strength, and hope.
Yeah, I understand to some extent. I mean, for me, it is very important to have overflow in the different directions, because if we don't, and if we're not able to create excess, because even in the manifestational realms, a lot of people are just willing to manifest things for themselves. Nobody is putting his energy to be willing to express or to manifest something that is helping others, not just him. And for me personally, everything is about overflow. It's very difficult for me to be able to spread, for example, more health outside of me if I'm not able to sustain my own personal body and health being. It is the same with success. If I'm not able to overflow with success in different areas of life, then how am I able to be a person of giving and a person of inspiring others to understand that success is possible for everyone? And in the different areas of life, if I'm not able to create overflows, according to me, it is not possible to become true giving person, because everyone wants to give when he don't have. Once we start having, then it becomes a different game.
Goes back to the, right back to the principles, in the Bible and there, it's like, yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to take care of yourself first, just like when that plane goes down, they tell you, you got to put your mask on first before you go trying to help somebody else, remove the plank from your own eye before you go trying to take one out of somebody else's. And it, we got to be there for us first, and so that we can be there for others. And and being grateful for everything we have, that's why you got to put the effort into it. You got to earn what you want. You got to work for what you want, so you don't take it for granted. What's taken for granted is soon lost. You don't value what you don't put the effort into. What comes easy is soon lost. It's not taken for granted. What comes easy, what you put the effort into, what you work for, you got to maintain that in order to keep it. Like you say, everybody, they reach success and everything, and then they fall, and you see them fall and everything. Once they reach that success, they forget what got them there. They're not maintaining it. They're not continuing in the same things that got them there. Well, I'm successful now. I don't have to do that. I can have somebody else do that or whatever. Hey, what got you to where you're at? You're not going to stay where you're at if you don't keep doing the things you've been doing. What got you there?
And I mean, in your personal life, aren't you in a way seeing that there is some dissonance between your thinking and mindset and what is the outer reality? I mean, for example, are you able to speak about success and how people can achieve things, while in your personal reality you are not able to succeed? I mean, how you are balancing these parts personally?
I'm developing, with the groups, they're more or less building the foundation. Now I got the foundation built to work from. I built my following. I got the ministry, everything. Now it's taking it to the next step. Where are we going to go from here? How do I how is this going to generate an income? You know, that's where I get my leads from and stuff, from the groups and everything, building the following, building the foundation to work from. You gotta have solid ground. You can't, sink in sand. You gotta, your principles and practices. The insight and the awareness, you ain't going to change what you're not aware of.
And how much energy you are putting into the digital space every day?
Probably 3 to 4 hours a day, but it's not all at once. When I take a break at lunchtime or a coffee break or something like that, I'll do a post or something like that and everything. Or if somebody schedules a call, I work around my call schedule. I got the LinkedIn and the Instagram and Facebook and the Calendly where people can schedule the calls. Mm-hmm. So it's a balance. You gotta find that moderation.
And actually, are you able to generate income of all these efforts if you're putting every day 4 hours at least per day? Are you able to generate something like $3,000 to $5,000 at least per month out of your efforts, or still not?
Yeah, anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it takes approximately 4 hours of your day just to move into this.
I spend 3 to 4 hours a day in the marketing aspect of it. Doing the coaching sessions are usually about an hour, and I'll do probably 5 to 6 sessions a week. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some weeks I have more people schedule more calls than others, but on average.
And how much do you usually charge the people for your program?
Right now I'm doing a holiday special where it's $1,500 for a 3-month coaching package. And we talk a couple times a week as needed. And whatever topics they're going over, whatever they're looking into, I'll do the research on it. I'll send them the videos or whatever I think is going to be the most beneficial to them. Depending on what they're going through, what issues they're dealing with, or what they're trying to do.
Mm. So the program is $1,500 for 3 months.
Yeah.
And you have a web page also where it's present, the program?
No, I did at one point, but then I did away with it because I found it wasn't really beneficial. It wasn't serving really any purpose other than just to have it. Mm-hmm. I focus mainly on the Facebook, on the groups there. I have the 2 groups on Facebook, and then I'm an admin for several others.
And what is the name of your Facebook? What is the name of your biggest Facebook group?
It's Within You spiritual guidance, group of spiritual guidance, and I have the It's Within You life coaching group for coaches and clients. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So would you like to speak about something else? Because I mean, for me personally, it is very important how I'm personally living my own life outside of the digital space. For me, it's important, my reality, and the way I'm dealing with all the limitations and how I'm daily able to expand in different areas of life on a personal level. For me, okay, the digital space is a digital space. It is something where we're helping people and are speaking with people, but the authentic self of who am I when nobody sees me and when it's only me and my personal reality, and I need to deal with different things on a daily basis where I need to put my personal application into everything that is happening. This is the most important part, actually. For me, the most important part is actually when nobody is seeing me. And this is where I really feel the power. This is where I really feel the meaning and the purpose of life. Not when people are seeing me, or I don't even want to do my life in order to present it to people, because a lot of influencers are just doing things only in order to show to their digital audience what they can do, but it still becomes a fake life.
Right, you got to be authentic. You got to be true to you. And if you're getting back to, when you're sitting there by yourself, is what it's overcoming your inner demons. Your fears, your self doubts, insecurity. I think we all have it. I mean, we're all human. Everybody's got insecurities. Everybody's got their self doubts, their fears. But it's developing the faith to overcome them.
Mm.
Take that step out there and present yourself for being who you really are. And not everybody, has reached that point. I know myself growing up, I considered myself more or less an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. I felt like I wanted the world to see me as somebody that could do anything they wanted to do, but inside, it just wasn't there. I didn't feel worthy of it. You got to get past that. You got to overcome that. The ego, the pride, the arrogance. It all comes back to being true to you, knowing what I no longer have to prove myself to anybody. I can accept myself for who I am today. You got to know who you are and accept yourself for who you are and being the way you are before you're going to be able to change. If you don't see any problem with it, you ain't going to change it. Awareness, insight and awareness.
And for example, what is the definition of yourself about who you are?
I'm a father. I'm a man of faith. I've overcome my fears, my insecurities, the self-doubts. I know I can do anything I set my mind to do today. And I'm worthy of it. I've had several companies and I've had to start over several times because I didn't feel worthy of it. I'd sabotage my own success. And it's overcoming that. Once you reach this point, well, where do I go from here? Well, yeah, you got to take the next step. And you got to get out of that fear and the self-doubt and the guilt and the shame of the past. But you got to forgive yourself for the past, You can't keep condemning yourself.
Mm. Yeah, okay. Would you like to say something else, or if you want, we can finish the talk? I mean, it's a very interesting talk for me personally, because I am constantly experiencing the way you are speaking and your labels. And then when I look at the visual reality, it is 100% different than what you are saying. So for me, it creates some dissonance, and I don't know. I mean, of course, there are people that are overinflating themselves in the outer reality. They create something very fancy and looking like it is very professional. And yeah, I mean, you are not even your background, you are not bothered from your house, for example. You're not bothered from your look, or that your teeth need some, let's say, work.
It's being comfortable with who you are. It's your presence, not your presentation.
And do you
It's the spirit within that comes shining through.
But do you personally drink, for example?
No, I used, like I said, growing up, I was an alcoholic. I was a drug addict. I did a lot of bad shit growing up, you know, and then when I went through divorces and things of that nature and everything else like that, because I had done to me the things that I had done to other people, and that's how I learned from it. I learned you don't understand, you know, what somebody else is going through until you're in their shoes, you know, until the same thing's done to you, you know, and that's life. We reap as we've sown, you know. You got to put out goodness if you want good things to come back to you. You got to do good for others. You know, you can't treat others like shit and expect them to treat you, you know, as you want to be treated and have respect for you, you know, and you got to set your boundaries. You can't allow others to disrespect you. If you allow somebody to disrespect you, then they can have no respect for you. You can't expect respect when you allow yourself to be disrespected, when you don't show respect for yourself. Everything starts with and ends with us, with who we are and how we see ourselves as being and being capable of.
And basically now you don't do drugs and you don't drink, and from how many years you're in this state, or from time to time you're cheating a little bit?
No, I don't. I don't count days. I don't count days. I don't count time in sobriety. I don't. I did for many years. You know, 52 years old. I went to my first rehab at 14, and then another went to rehab again back at 19 years old, and that's when I first got sober. But there's been 2 times where I've had periods of sobriety for 10, 12 years and stuff, only to have something happen to revert right back to the old behaviors, you know. But it ain't that you've lost that time or because you relapsed or anything else like that. Because you still had that the amount of time is what you did with that time. Yeah, you made a mistake. That don't make you a mistake. You know? And it just, and like I say, you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, go to AA, you go to NA and this, that, and everything else, and you're accepting these labels for yourself. You got to stop, you know? You label yourself as an alcoholic. You're going to do what alcoholics do. What do they expect from you? They expect you to drink. You know, they expect you to go out and do this, do that, and everything else. You're a drug addict. You're going to do drugs, you know? You can't trust him. He's a drug addict, you know? But you got to drop them labels. You can't be that person no more. You got to be true to you, to who you are. You know, and it takes a lot of time to really come to that understanding of who you are, and, you know, forgiving yourself of the past to create the future as you want it to be.
Yes, and this is why I'm willing to know, are you now in this new place that you're speaking about? And that's why I ask from how long, or you are still not 100% sure about this?
No, it's a lifelong process. Every day is a process of learning, you know? And just like anybody else in recovery and everything, you know, it's awareness, insight and awareness. You know, you got to be aware of what's going on within you and what's going on around you, people, places, and things, and how they affect you, how you react to them or respond to them. You know, it's controlling the emotions, the thoughts. Your thoughts dictate your action, your emotions and actions.
Yes, I understand this part. I was just willing to know about, because all of us have our shadow side. And I was just willing to know when this shadow side was expressing out of you during your years and so on in the beginning. And now you're saying that it is not expressing so much. Now you are trying to express as more as possible your white side, and how you treat now your shadow side. This is actually my question. Because it still exists, we cannot destroy it. I mean, the shadow part of us is always in us. We cannot. How are you doing this in your life?
It's a choice. It's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice. It's your perception. It's how you see yourself as being, how you perceive things as being. You know, you can be the victor or you can be the victim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to look at your life. Are things happening for you, or is everything happening to you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you start seeing things in a different light, and you see things happening for you rather than everything happening to you, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing yourself as the creator of your environment, not a product of it.
Yes, but it is always truth. It's always us that we are creating our environment. The only thing is which part of us we are letting to be expressed more, because when, for example, you are in your early years from 14 to 18, 19, when you were in your teenage years, it was still you that were creating this environment. So I mean, in a sense, it is the same human being that has the same power to create its environment, but then you decided to change because you didn't like what you perceived and saw then in the outer reality. And now you're manifesting and you're expressing different part of yourself that you also found during these processes. Because when you say be true to yourself and be true to what is within you, in all of us there is so much darkness also. It's not only white things inside of us, but why we as human beings decide to choose to express more of the whiteness in us and more of the beauty that is in us. And you have found it by this maybe difference, because you saw in the first parts of your life how much destruction can a human being bring to the world, but now you're in the totally opposite direction. You want now to show different things that are also inside of you. Is it correct? Or
Yeah, and that goes back to if you read Stephen R. Covey's book, you know, he's in there about the maturity continuum. You know, and that has a lot to do with it. You know, we in different stages, we're as children, you know, we're dependent on our parents for everything that we need, and then we reach adolescence and we want to be independent. And then when we get to be adults, everything's interdependent. You know, we all depend on one another for different things in life, you know. And it's how we make those transitions and transformations is what happens within us, you know, as we grow and mature.
yeah, and I mean, in your dreams that you now have and imaginations, what type of the outside reality do you want to have? A nice, beautiful house, for example, or it's not necessary for you to have it in order to perform well?
No, it's to be content with the things that I have, you know. It's okay to desire more. You always got to have something to desire, something to work for, something to hope for a better tomorrow, you know. And where my house burned, I still own that property and everything else like that. And me and my kids, we plan on building. Me and the kids are going to build the new house together. We sit down and we've designed it the way the kids do. You know, I have a civil engineering background and everything like that. I do the blueprints with the kids. I mean, well, we want this and we want that, and, you know, and we've designed it so that it will meet the needs of the family. You know, when the new house is built, it will be to the specifications that we want it to be. You know, it's going to be something that we're going to build together.
But now, were you able to actually take back your family, in the sense that now your family is living with you together, or because
Yes.
you were divorced in the past?
Yeah, we've been back together for a little over 2 years now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And everything takes time. It's a process.
So actually you're in a recovering process where, like, once again in your life, it's the same wife and the same children that came back to you after so many years, and the last 2 years they're again back with you. So there's some change in you, in a sense.
Yeah, reconciliation.
Mhm.
restoration.
Okay, that's good. So for the next 4 or 5 years, can you see 100% different life where you can be?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And what can you describe your wildest dreams for the next 5 years, for example, with some sentences?
Well, I'm putting together plans to, like I said, I have different business ventures that I'm working on that are going to provide, a future for myself and my family. I'm, like I said, 52 now. I plan on retiring at 65, and I'm going to have a set income from then on. But I'm following my passions. I'm going to provide income, but I love old cars and stuff like that, and I want to start doing car shows and having different events. And I plan on doing a TEDx talk, within the next year or so. There's different goals that I have, different plans things that I'm preparing for.
But in specifics, you want to be a TED Talk speaker.
Mhm.
One of the specifics. The other specific that I heard about is that you want to, what do you mean by participating in automobile shows, or to create this type of events, or what exactly? Or you want to be a car dealer? What exactly do you want there?
Well, what the vision is a storage center for people to store classic cars and stuff where they can come work on their cars, and maybe a couple specialty shops there, a place that does the automotive detailing and stuff like that, where they can come and have the car shows on the weekends. We'll have a field out in front, where people that other car enthusiasts can come together and share, and spend time together and enjoy what they do, what they're enthusiastic about. I know a lot of people in this area, because I'm in the Daytona area. This is, a prime location for it. Everywhere I go, people around here have classic cars and stuff, and and they have Daytona. It's the International Speedway.
Yeah. So you live close to this Daytona area.
Yes. Yep.
And do you dream about having a muscle car or a speed car? Have you ever had one, or do you want to have one?
I've had several, but one of the things I want to, one of my goals is to one day build a car with my kids, to restore an old car with the kids.
You have an old car and you want to restore it. You already have an old car and you want to restore it, or you want to buy an
No,
old car and to restore it?
we're gonna buy an old one and restore it.
So you want to be a car enthusiast in one sense, then what about the house and the environment that you want to surround yourself with? Do you dream in this direction also, or not? You said about this dream house that you want to reconstruct with your family or with your children together.
Mhm.
And for your financial future and about these debts, what are your ideas there? How do you plan to have this financial independence? Or you spoke about passive income. What is your ideas there? Because I know all these labels. I mean, in this Grant Cardone and 10x Peking, and there are so many labels in this area, but what exactly do you want for yourself? Do you have a specifics there for the next 5 years?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I'm in the process of revising the book. I'm working with other people, with realtors and things. I'm in the process of locating the land to put the self-storage center in. Just being open to the opportunities as they come up.
And because I see that you are a dreamer, you like to dream a lot about the future, but do you have specific small steps that you are doing on a daily basis?
Yeah,
Do you have
yeah. Like I said,
weekly goals, or do you have some small steps that you are doing daily towards something specific? How do you implement?
well, like I said, I'm meeting with realtors. I'm meeting with the different investors. There's steps I'm taking every day to reach the goal that you know to pursue the dream. It ain't you got to take action every day. It's meeting with the realtors. It's meeting with the investors. It's meeting with the banks and everybody in between.
Yeah, but how are you
And
going to meet with the banks if you still owe so much money? Your credit score maybe is not so big in the moment. It's not so positive.
the only thing on my credit the only thing on my credit is student loans. The only thing I'm still paying on is my education.
It
If it wasn't for student loans, my credit would be clear. My land's paid for, my house is paid for. The new house we're in now, I got a 15-year mortgage on this one, but my other property, my other house, that's paid for. I mean,
yeah, so actually you have some assets, which is good.
yeah, I have assets and I have income.
Yeah, that's great.
But I'm always looking to generate more income. Like I said, passive income. I've gotten into a few affiliate marketing programs. I'm working on that. There's different things that I'm doing every day. You can't sit there and expect things just to happen. You got to put the effort into them.
And what are your plans about your personal health? And do you plan to work with your teeth and to have a better look in the future? Do you work in this area also? Do you put it as a vision also?
Yeah,
Or
you gotta have a. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was just willing to know, do you plan to improve your appearance also for the future?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I didn't dress up or nothing like that for being on here today. I actually, it actually caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared for it, but that's okay. I wasn't. Regardless whether you're prepared for it or not, you show up. You do the things that you say you're going to do, regardless of whether you're prepared for it or not. You gotta put yourself out there. You just got to do it every day, regardless of anything else. You got to have that integrity. You got to meet your own expectations and the expectations of others. I told you this is something I was going to do. I'm going to do it. I ain't gonna, not follow through on something I said I was going to do. And that's the whole ticket to everything. Is following through.
Yeah. So actually, you are expecting a very huge transformation in your outer life in order to be more coherent with what is within you. Can we state it like this? Or it's not necessary? I mean, your inner life can be very beautiful when you don't care about the outer reality, or it's important both of them to be in coherence for you personally.
It's not. I ain't out to impress nobody. I'm not out to impress nobody.
Yeah.
I'm happy with myself.
I don't mean to
I ain't worried about what anybody else thinks of me. I know who I am.
Yes, but what I meant is that according to you, your inner beauty is not necessary to be shown in the outer reality.
Not necessarily. I mean, like I said before, it's how you present yourself. It's not the clothes that you wear, it's how you wear them. It's who you are. It's how you present yourself as being. You know, you gotta let the true you shine through. You know, you can't deal with all that other false bullshit, you know, false false pretenses and ulterior motives and stuff that don't get you nowhere.
Yeah.
And keeping things in perspective, you know.
Okay.
People like, you know, people that I study from and I deal with on a regular basis, you know, people like Gary Vee and stuff like that. You go right and say he's wearing a toque and stuff like that and stuff like that. He ain't wearing $100 Armani suit or nothing like that when he goes up on stage or nothing like that. He's up there in a pair of jeans and a pair of and a sweatshirt, you know. You don't have to dress to impress. I mean, just be yourself.
Yes, I understand about the dressing, but the other thing is about the confidence, how much of what is inside of you, you know that you are able to perform and to deliver in the outside reality. This is what...
That comes from within. That comes from within.
Yes, from within, but then
from taking action every day, you know, meeting your own expectations. Meeting your own expectations builds the confidence within you.
Yes, but that's why we are to constantly challenge ourselves and to put real life results that we want to create in order to be able then more strongly to show other people why what we are saying is working. For example, in your case, if it, let's say 2-3 years, you are really able to manifest and to build a dream house and to speak to people and to say, okay, you see, it's okay for me to live in any environment, but also I'm capable to do this and I have done it and I'm able to perform, as well as it's okay for me to be in any environment.
And that can, you know, being comfortable with who you are in any environment that you're in.
So actually, can we state that for you, the outer physical materiality is not so important? The most important thing for you is the spiritual part of you, and everything else doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's more who you are. It's not so much, you know, what you have. It's who you are that matters.
Yeah, so for you, the non-physical and the unseen is much more important than the physical materiality and the outer appearance. This is what you're stating.
Yes.
Yeah, because for me, it's a little bit different way at how I look at reality. For me, the outer reality is very important because actually we are nothing more or nothing less than what our outer reality is expressing. According to me, these two parts, our inner being and our outside being, are to be in coherence. Whatever we speak, we should be able to show it in the outer reality, and the opposite. Whatever is in the outer reality, if we fake it and it's not the same one from the inside as a person, because there are a lot of people that are speaking about prosperity, or that in the universe it is 100% abundance and everything, and we are so approachable to everything, and there is so many things that are available, and they're doing affirmations and things like this. And then if you go and make an audit of their outer reality, it is not in coherence with what they're saying and what they're speaking about. This is how I say that building the confidence is in building a lot of bridges between the outer and the inner reality, because nobody can understand our inner world if we're not able to show it through our outer expressions. I mean, at least for me, this is important part of why I'm strongly manifesting everything that who I am in the outer reality, and I'm willing to express it. For me, this is important. I mean, for me to have a dissonance between the two, it only gives me a feedback that there are things that I still need to work in my inner being in order to be able then to express them in the outer reality. I mean, for me, this is important, because if we are just staying in our inner world, and if we're staying in the spiritual realm and don't care about the outer world, the physical matter reality, we are actually starting to live in disassociation from reality.
And you have to stay in reality, but you got to decide what your own reality is. Everybody's version of reality is different. You know, what's normal for me ain't normal for you, and it goes on right on down the line. You know, it's how you were brought up. It's your roots. It's where you come from. It's how you were raised. You know, what was important in your family and everything growing up. You know, what were your family values? What values were instilled in you as a child? You know, personally, my family, we didn't really worry about what other people thought or how they seen us as being or anything else like that. We just were who we are, you know, and that's the way it is. You know, you just be yourself and you do what you feel is right for you. You know, and that's the way it is. You always be true to you. Yourself, everybody has their own truths, their own sense of reality, their own perceptions, their own beliefs. I don't have the need to seek validation from outside of myself. I know who I am.
Yeah, but according to me, we are created in such a way that not that we need validation, but we need to constantly validate our perception with the objective reality, because otherwise we start living in our own, as you said, personal truth, personal reality, and actually this is a perception. But the objective truth is something that all of the human beings are to constantly try to come closer to, because there is also objective truth that is objective for all of us, and it is like universal comparison, because otherwise we are 8 billions of us in the moment, and everyone can go into their own perceptional shell, and everyone can say, well, this is reality and this is the truth, and my personal self-awareness is the only thing that matters. In a sense, it's true, but then we are just closing ourselves into our inner beings, and there is no outward validation and expressions. I don't know.
We all have our own perspectives and perceptions of things and everything else like that, but it's in our interactions with others, a lot of times we see things in others that are within us. You know, we're either, you know, accepting the projections of others onto ourselves, or we're projecting our feelings onto others, you know. And like I see me and you. Do you see me, yourself in me? You know, we're a reflection of one another. What I see in you is within me. We're all human. We have the same feelings. We all have the same emotions.
Mm. And for example, what do you see in me?
what I hear a lot is you're still worried. I sense some apprehension about how others perceive you to be. You're worried about how others see you as being. You know, is that how you present yourself, not your presence. It's your presentation. You know, you're more worried about the presentation than the presence. In some sense, you know, my
And for example, what I see in you, when I look, I see, for me, it's very important to see that if there is a dissociation between my inner being and my outer reality, it is something that I see as a dissonance, and it is not long-term good for the environment. Just imagine like a flower that it thinks that it is so beautiful, but when people from the outside objectivity are looking at the same flower and they see that there is something in this flower that is not so beautiful, but the flower can constantly convince the others that it is such a beautiful flower. But sometimes you can see that only without the appearance of the flower, it is not possible the inner part of the flower to convince. I mean, why all the nature and why all the beauty is expressed in such a beautiful way. There is a purpose for all of this. No, beauty is so hidden that nobody can see it in the outside. There is a reason why beauty is to be expressed. This is
yes. And you know, like they say, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You know, everybody has a different perception and a different perspective on things. You know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But but it's getting back to you're saying the inner dissonance. You got to figure out what it is that's causing the inner dissonance. You know, what needs to be brought back into alignment. You know, you got to get like be at peace with yourself. You know, you got to find the inner peace. You know, you're got to align your actions with your intentions, your emotions, and everything. You know, everything's got to be in alignment. Otherwise, you're going to have that inner dissonance. You know, you have to think, well, what's causing the inner dissonance? You know, what do I got to do differently to change that so I can be at peace with myself?
Yeah, but I mean, for me personally, our outer expressions, maybe 80% of them are, in a sense, not coherent. And it is okay to be so, because we're learning all the time.
Yes.
But if we go to a delusional state that everything is perfect and beautiful, just because it is perfect and beautiful deep inside of us, it's also a delusion.
Yes.
We are constantly work in progress. Yes, deep inside us, we can say,
there's always room for improvement. Nobody's perfect. We all fall short. You know, that's why we got to depend on the grace of God, you know, that we're still here, you know. You know, you see some people judge other people they see on the street, the homeless person, some more standing and judge them. The other person, I mean, by the grace of God, there go I, you know, you know, something could happen. I could be in his shoes tomorrow. You don't know. We don't know. You know, tomorrow's not promised to nobody.
Yeah. Okay, so we are good examples of two different approaches towards reality. Your approach is that you don't need external validation about anything. For you, it is enough that you have internal understanding of who you are. And for me personally, it is important both of these things to be as much as possible in coherence. For me personally, what I'm looking in the outside of who I am, that's why I'm constantly observing my outer reality, is just showing me to what extent I was able till this moment to understand who am I in the inner being, and only to the extent that I'm performing in the outer reality, this is the reality of how much I have realized and understood and realized of who I actually am in this moment. Of course, I can dream inside my imagination that I'm so much more, that I'm so many more beautiful and wonderful things, but only to the extent that I'm able to express this type of internal beauty in the outer reality. Only to this extent in the moment I was able to understand who am I. And that's why the outer reality is helping me a lot to understand who am I and to be able to go deeper into myself and to go into more change and into more work in order then to be able to express more in the outside reality. For me, they're very strongly interconnected.
Yeah, they are. How we perceive the outer world to be is a reflection of how our inner world. It's a reflection of how we see things is a reflection of who we are, how we see things as being.
Mm. Okay. So if you want, we can finish here. Of course, we can continue the discussion. It is a long discussion. There are many ways in which the human beings can perform.
Mhm.
And the interesting thing is that we realize that there is internal and external part of us. The external part, I'm calling it expression of ourselves. And of course, it's up to us at which direction we are going to point our attention. And is there a more important part actually? Is the inner world more important or the outer world? It is still debatable. For me, personally, this interaction between both of them is much more important than either one of them. Because the external expressions without the being, once the being is left, there is nothing going to be left even of the. So both of them are important, but yeah, thank you for this wonderful conversation. And I enjoyed it. I like to consider myself as a person that is collecting different type of experiences. Like I was very honored today to meet you and to just put you into my digital experience and to share you with all the other peoples that I'm around, because I'm a personal believer that I am not one that is going to surround myself only with people with which I'm like-minded. I would like to open myself for different type of people. I want all of us to see that reality is much more rich and we are able to enrich each others. It doesn't matter what is our status or our state or the inner or the outer reality. The important thing is just to collaborate and to know that there is much more than what we personally think that there is out there, because it's very easy to stay into bubbles and just everyone to be in its own bubble and to think that this is everything.
You got to keep an open mind, not close yourself off. I find people, you surround yourself with other people that fit in your own little boxes, but then they don't open you up to new opportunities, to learn. Nobody's as smart as everybody. You know, we all can learn from each other, and that's what it comes about. You know, I try and collaborate and cooperate. I try not to compare and compete with others, you know, because that builds that separation. You know, you got to have unity within the community. And that's where it's at for me, you know, to bring unity back to the community and working with others, not against them, you know, not holding other people in judgment of their behaviors to justify my own, you know, and we do that throughout our lives, you know, growing up when we ain't taking responsibility for ourselves. We blame everything on others and we hold them in judgment of their behaviors to justify our own. And we got to get past that, you know, realize we're all human and we all got to work together. This is, you know, one world.
Okay. Thank you very much. And we are going to keep in touch. We are connected in Facebook. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on your show today. It's been an honor.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right.
Nice time. Bye-bye.
Right.